I think I saw at one of the press launches earlier this year, I want to say they make up something like 60% of all motorcycles.
Pat, I don't know if you have heard, but Triumph had a record in their global sales in 2024.
They did. I did hear about it. The last press event I went to, actually, they were talking about it a good bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they
there we
were.
go. Iceman Moto, welcome to the On2 crew for what looks like 6 months, I believe.
Oh,
Um, and then
yeah.
we've got Nick Ingles, member for 24 months, 2 whole years of the On2 crew, and the winner of our Revzilla gift card. We love you and we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you both
Um,
very, very much.
Absolutely. We appreciate all y'all support and continued support.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But no,
yes.
I did hear about this. I did hear about this at the Speed Twin RS launch. They were talking about it. They're super, super excited. So, um, gonna be a really, really good 2025 for them, I believe, as well.
Yeah. So here's a few facts and figures that we can talk about. So 2024 was the first time they had over 100,000 units sold, which you compare that to something like Honda. Honda's like, oh, that's cute because they produce like what 500,000 every year or something like that.
Oh no, I think it's way more than that.
Okay, well, but still, from where Triumph was to now doing this, um, they had over 100,000 units sold last year. Um, they've had a growth of 123% since 2019. But
Dang.
yeah, that's a lot. But here's an interesting fact about this: that it was a 64% growth just from 2023. So they went from about 82,000 units to 134,000 units in 2024.
That's amazing. Holy
That
crap.
that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Um, some other stats here that we've got. There are now 950 dealers that sell Triumph motorcycles around the world, which is a 46% increase since 2019.
So nearly 50%. That's insane. So that's a third of their now market has opened in the last 6 years. That's bananas.
Yeah, so a lot more dealers, and then those dealers are selling even more bikes. Um, and they had last year a couple new segments that were their off road with their TF 250. So that they brought that, and then their Speed 400 and Scrambler 400X, which I know you're not a fan of that bike, which it's, but
It's not that I'm not a fan of that bike. I just think it's too small.
right. Well, it is a small bike, but again, as we
And it's meant
discussed,
to be fair.
but again, everything is a small bike to a Patty Rick.
Not a road
um,
glide though.
yes,
Them shits are huge.
but what that has done is, I mean, we've heard a lot about those 400s selling, and I think that was a great move, not just for Triumph to sell bikes, but it's a great marketing strategy for them to get people into riding, into
Yep.
the Triumph brand,
Yep. Get them into the
w-
ecosystem as a
with that
beginner rider.
right without having to start with a $14,000
Yeah.
whatever bike.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it seems like they were moving kind of toward that lower displacement a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
with like the Tiger 660 and the
exactly.
Trident. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I first got into motorcycling and kind of became aware of the brands and stuff, Triumph was very much a very niche, somewhat premium feeling. That's the
Mhm.
vibe I got from it. But now they're mainstream.
Yeah, they're a very mainstream brand now. I think they've done a really, really good job of that. I think it's something that BMW could learn from. I feel like BMW globally is much better as a they've got a lot of low displacement machines out there. In the US, that's just not really the case. But Triumph has done a really, really good job the last couple of years, especially in North America, of becoming more of a mainstream brand for sure. Um, and just for reference of how small and how niche Triumph really is, versus somebody like Honda. In
Hmm.
2023, Honda sold 18.5 million motorcycles globally. Um, I think I saw at one of the press launches earlier this year that I want to say they make up something like 60% of all motorcycles.
Yeah, I saw that stat too. Honda's
Like
just absolutely.
it's yeah, I mean they crush. But that's it's Honda. They're a global powerhouse. So like duh. But for a brand like Triumph and brands like Royal Enfield, as another example of a brand that faltered in the not so distant past and has managed to make a fantastic resurgence. I love working with them. They're a great company to work with. Both of those companies, um, super cool bikes, and just I think the big thing for me, not that that isn't true about Honda or any other of these other brands, is uh, they are so obsessively motorcyclists building motorcycles.
Mm,
Not that Honda isn't. Honda is working with them recently as well. Has been the people that are on the motorcycle team are absolute motorheads through and through. But it's such a big company; it's hard to get the global kind of corporate structure there to represent that. Um,
sure.
where like the interpersonal relationships with Triumph really show that they are just a bunch of motorheads, which is cool.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you look at American Honda Motor Company, they're kind of over the marine division and, some of the automobile and
And yeah,
motorcycles. And
and side by
whereas,
sides and UTV, like
yeah, whereas Triumph is motorcycles.
yeah.
So,
Geez,
yeah,
Honda sold 500,000 motorcycles in North America in
wow.
2023.
Yeah. Well, I remember there was an episode a couple years ago that Chase and Bo were doing, talking about Triumph's 1 millionth motorcycle produced out of their factory
Yeah,
in Hinckley, and it's kind of like, whoa, 1 million motorcycles, and you think about Honda's like, oh, we just produced that in like this past hour, so.
yeah. That's
but but it's
yeah,
perspective. It's perspective.
exactly. Yeah. It's like we did that last month. It's like you know, it's so different. And again, I don't want to say that like Honda isn't amazing for the fact that they build because like I don't know if there's another brand that builds as many different things that Honda does.
Hmm.
Cars and trucks, like they do power equipment, they do like lawnmowers and like household stuff. They do UTVs, ATVs, like dirt bikes,
Hmm.
like they generators. I mean,
Generators. I was just, yeah,
you know,
lawnmowers. Yeah, I don't know if you said
yeah,
that, but
yeah, lawnmowers, like all this stuff. So like Honda's got their toes in a lot of stuff. So it's really cool to see such a focused brand. Like Triumph does motorcycles. That is what
hmm,
they do. They used to do cars. They were okay. They do motorcycles and they do them so well. So really exciting for them to hit 100K last year, 130K almost. So it wouldn't surprise me for them to hit 150 this year because growth
yeah.
is exponential for these companies when they get it going right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be pretty hard to do another year of 64% growth from year to year. But,
I think you'd be surprised.
but I mean, that trajectory, especially just over the last 5 years, and then that surge this last year, again, with those couple new segments they have with their off road and the kind of entry level 400. I mean, people are eating them up, man.
Yeah, I mean,
And
if you look at the industry as a whole, I mean, COVID blew up the two-wheel industry like absolutely. The global pandemic caused a massive increase in sales for most brands. But the
mhm.
fact that in 2024 they grew another 64% when everyone else's growth had slowed down is showing that Triumph is definitely doing something right.
Especially KTM. Um, what? Nah, we
I
know.
didn't say it.
No, everybody else in the world is. Uh, anyway,
BMW doesn't even want
oh, I heard there was a rumor about them picking them up, but did they say,
I saw a post from like one of the head BMW people who were like, "Why would we do that?" Like
Oh, so it was probably
that's
a rumor mill
Yeah,
that started up. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. They're like, oh, why would we buy a company that's worth $400 million that has $2.2 billion in debt? Like that's stupid.
Stranger things have happened, but
It's a good TV show. Yeah.
oh man. Yeah, Bo makes a good point. May have a huge year this year with their off-road segment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
off-road segment and the dual sporty segment that may or may not be coming.
yeah, I think those, especially those two new segments that they talked about this past year, I think that's going to continue to just, again, as you said, the exponential growth. They're just going to
Hmm.
continue to ride that wave for the next couple years at least on that.
Yeah, they've been
Um,
crushing.
but yeah, yeah. The 400s, they're not the most spectacular machines, but very approachable to get new riders in, which is what I'm for.
Hmm.
So
Hey, rising tides raise all boats. The more riders we can get into this sport, the more prevalent that they are going to be on the road in North America, which in turn will theoretically make it safer for everyone because more bikes out there, cars are going to see them more often. Hopefully, it becomes more normal and it is safer for everyone.
absolutely.
He's
So
the
good on
best.
Triumph. Good job, y'all.
Yeah,
Keep it
crushing
up.
it. Crushing it.